All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
So some of you have seen the movie Something About Mary. Have you seen it in the chat? You know, it was one of the most famous comedies of all time. Cameron Diaz, Ben Stiller. It was one of those rare movies. I hate comedies. I don't watch comedies in the movies. I don't even like comedy shows. People are like, oh, this guy's hilarious. Watch this guy's comedy show. And I'll sit there and I'll like look at Paul and be like, was that supposed to be funny? Like, I don't really get it, right? Something About Mary is one of those rare movies. I went to the movies and actually laughed. It had some really good lines in it. Everyone knows that scene too. But the reason I bring that up is I was on Jesse Waters' show last night. And I brought up the fact that if we are going to be Republicans and stand for something, then we have to be clear what we stand for, even if it's difficult to have to explain to people. No, this is hard to say to people. It is, because it's not necessarily appealing to people who think free stuff is possible. We are not the party of free stuff. We're the party of hard work, ingenuity, pulling yourself up and earning your place in the world. Like, you may say, well, of course that's popular. No, it's not. There are some people who don't want that. They just want free stuff. We're not that party. So I bring up Something About Mary because on the air last night, I thought of this whole 7-minute abs thing. When they're driving in the car, remember that video, 7-minute abs? 7-minute abs was this stupid like infomercial video thing where look at me, I got a washboard abs. It'll only take me 7 minutes a day. Whatever, man. You want washboard abs? You're going to have to work your butt off. Diet, exercise, cardio, strength training, like 7-minute abs, whatever. The guy in the car's like, well, why not 6-minute abs? That's the whole thing. Like, if you want to be a Republican, you're going to have to tell people difficult things. You can't take the easy path and go, the Democrats are giving you free stuff in 7 minutes. We can do it in 6. Because the Democrats are going to come back and go, what about 5-minute abs? We are never run on 6-minute abs from 7-minute abs. We are never going to be the party that gives away free stuff. We're going to have to tell people difficult things. And the fact that some people out there will tell you, well, we can't do that. We can't win if we don't offer free stuff too. That treats you, in my listening audience and elsewhere, that treats you like idiots. That you're just too stupid to understand that stuff isn't free. And I don't buy that. I will never buy that. And if you're looking for a show that's going to say that, hey, man, we need to out-Democrat Democrats and just offer more free stuff, then seriously, it's no problem. Like, this show is not for you. It's not. The reason this show for 10 years has remained popular, it's been on radio and TV and elsewhere, is because we don't do that. We don't do that, and we're not going to do that. Do the homework. Make these issues bleed for people. And I don't mean bleed like I said last night, like in a physically violent way. That's a Democrat thing, a liberal thing, like, and keep it there. We don't need any of that crap. I mean, like, you need to make these issues feel for people, and it's hard work. Oh, you want government-run healthcare? You know they're going to cancel your healthcare plan, right? Wow, that hurts. That's going to bleed for me. You want to tax the wealthy and tax the rich? What happens when they leave your state? The tax base collapses and you've got no money for your public schools, for your fire department, your police department. You didn't really think of that, did you? You love Democrats and socialism. You know they want to get rid of school choice, right? You just got your kid into a good school financed by your own tax dollars, where you finally got your kid in a good school. You know they're going to rip him out of there, right? You got to make this stuff bleed, man. It's hard work. We're not going to out-Democrat the Democrat. Forget it. Also, folks, I am thoroughly enjoying the continued crash out by the pillars out there, as every day now they get exposed as more things are happening they promised you would never happen, and people are bailing by the thousands. I watch this stuff. I see not all of it, but a good amount of it on X. To watch all these people on X be like, hey, man, you guys just lied to us. You told us all this stuff about this person. This wasn't happening. And now it's all. To watch it is just glorious. So thank you all for believing in the truth and staying true north with us. We appreciate it. All right, loaded show for you today. A couple of big thank yous and a viral post on X about the Trump administration that really has gone crazy, and I need you to see it before the midterms. Hey, I never realized how much my mattress was affecting my sleep until I finally made a change. Years ago, I switched to Helix, Helix. I chose the Midnight Lux mattress. I've been falling asleep more comfortably, waking up less often, and I feel noticeably more refreshed in the morning, especially today. I slept like a champion last night. Jasmine, did I not tell you that? Slept like 10 hours. It was a long day yesterday. The Helix Sleep Quiz only took a few minutes, and based on my answers, they recommended a mattress that matched my sleep style and my preferences. It made choosing the right mattress really, really easy. It'll make it easy for you too. One feature I really appreciated is the cooling design of the mattress. It's Florida. It's really hot here. That's not breaking news. On warmer nights, which are like every night here, even in January, it helps me stay comfortable, which means less tossing and turning and more interrupted sleep. Your body's got to be cool to fall asleep and stay asleep. Since upgrading, I felt more rested overall and have better energy throughout the day. Helix also makes it easy to try for yourself with free shipping and a 120-night sleep trial and a limited lifetime warranty. Can't beat it. Give them a shot at Helix. Right now, Helix has an exclusive offer for my listeners, 27% off site-wide, big savings. Go to helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off site-wide, HELIX. That's helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off site-wide, helixsleep.com/Dan. Thank you, Helix Sleep. We appreciate it. Fellas, let's go. So again, folks, don't buy into 7-minute abs, Republicans out there who want to become Democrat light. You're never going to out-Democrat a Democrat. You do 6-minute abs, they'll do 5-minute abs. You do 5-minute abs, they'll do 4-minute abs. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Audience Archivist Junie, I think I did a show on this years ago called like 7-minute abs because this was just on my mind last night in Jesse's show. And listen, when you're sitting there in the studio, bang, 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 going, like sometimes this stuff just pops in my head. Last night was one of those hits. I get off the air, like 100 people text me, dude, that was awesome. I don't even know where that came from. Thank you, Jesse, for letting me rock and roll, though. I appreciate it. I just want, and that hit went on forever. Big thank you to Barrett Media, by the way. Great outlet. We love reading their content over there. Barrett Media covering Garrett Seawright does a great job there. Dan Bongino adding new morning radio show, Westwood 1, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Again, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with me and Sean. So we're taking over the Ray. We're on like 7 hours between Vince, Sean, and I now. We really appreciate it. Thank you to the program directors who are picking up the show. We'll get you a station finder. We're just adding them by the minute, so it really doesn't make any sense to put it out right now. But we will get that to you. So thank you so much. Why? Again, because this show brings receipts. That's why it's growing despite all the nonsense, AstroTurf stuff on X. Obviously, receipts matter. People wouldn't be picking up the show if it wasn't a popular show, and it wouldn't be expanding if it didn't need to expand because more people demand it. So thanks so much. Folks, getting back to something I've said over the last few days, and please forgive me if I will say this, because bringing receipts sometimes means being self-critical as well. The show has been doing great. Thanks to you. We're expanding. But one, I did get it was, and I don't know if it was an email or I read an X post the other day. And someone said, hey, Dan, sometimes on your show, you will repeat something a lot. And I guess the person, it was said in like a critical way, which is okay. I like to hear this stuff. But folks, that's a feature. That's not a glitch. And when you're marketing or trying to sell someone a product. In this case, I'm trying to get across to you this product of conservatism as a better path forward. It requires, marketing will tell you 7 to 20 times before an idea sets in. The Democrats are really good at this. So I told you about this kind of critical post for a reason, that is the feature of the show. That may not be for everyone, and that's okay. But the reason socialism sticks, despite its documented record of failure, torture, imprisonment, starvation, it's never worked anywhere, is because Democrats repeat it over and over and over again through kids in kindergarten through 12th grade, in universities, the entertainment community, Hollywood, sports. They hear it over and over. The way to combat that message is, again, to do the hard work, and sometimes you got to hammer a message home. That is not a bug. It is a feature of this show. And if it's not for everyone, that's okay. This show is not for everyone. This is a republic. You can watch whatever you want. I'm glad you're here. I'm honored you're here. I love you all. But one of the messages I've been repeating over the last few days is, if a policy is effective and really good, whatever it may be, school choice, tax hikes, which I don't think, then you shouldn't have to hide it from people. Does your policy survive first contact with actual people when you tell people what it is? Why are the Democrats always hiding stuff? The Republicans and the MAGA administration right now, the Trump administration, don't do that at all. I'm going to talk to Vince Colanese later as my guest. You all love Vince. But this idea that the Trump administration, nothing happened and all, you're just not, you're either deliberately lying, which in that case, I can't help you. That's just evil and you're on your own. You're just lying to people for some kind of perverse reason. Maybe you've been paid to, maybe you're just too stupid not to lie. I don't know. But there are other people out there who claim like, I don't know what the Trump administration did. And I'm like, did you look it up? I say that because we don't hide our results. Donald Trump and his record should be on the ballot in the midterms. Here's the post I was talking about. And, we're going through pre-production in the show today, and Guy's back today. And Guy's like, what do you want me to do with this tweet? It's so long. And I said, Guy, I don't know, just like scroll through it. This is a viral post by Rod Martin that's gone just crazy. And it's a list of Donald Trump accomplishments. And Guy said, which ones do you want to highlight? I said, I'm going to scroll to the top for a second. He's at Rod D. Martin. Trump's top 25 achievements. The list every conservative should know and use. We have an election coming up. Like, this is the stuff that happened. You want to win an election, keep this up a second. Tell people what you did, here it is, and tell people what the other side is going to do, which is really bad. Steal your health care, steal your firearms. Here's a couple of them. Just scroll down. Just stop randomly right here. Number one, he made the border a real border again. Yeah. He reversed mass migration. Scroll down a little more. Stop anywhere. All right, right there. He secured $18 trillion in announced investment commitments to the United States. He made reshoring and reindustrialization real, not a slogan. Justin, scramble the wheel again like it's one of those game shows and then stop randomly. Oh, look, here we go. He broke the deep state's power to defy the elected branches. He ended the nationwide injunction abuse going on by the courts. He got men out of women's sports and restored biological reality. Just one more. Let's throw one. Just stop anywhere. He drove China out of the Caribbean. He forced NATO to stop freeloading and increase defense spending by 250%. It goes on and on. Just go to his tweet, at Rod D. Martin. Everybody's been spreading this around on X because I guarantee you're going to read this. And even someone like me who was in the Trump administration, again, being candid with you, I'm not here to pretend I'm above it all. Even I'd forgotten about some of this stuff. Whereas the Democrats don't want their policy to survive first contact, so they hide it from you. The Trump administration is openly saying, yes, run on our record. Here's our record. Here it is. There's a ton of other stuff in there too. Manufacturing is back. Inflation it's not perfect, but it's gotten better from the Biden administration. Crime was absolutely crushed. Violent crimes at historic lows. Like, it's everywhere, man. Nobody's running from this stuff. Does your policy survive first contact with voters? The answer in the Rod Martin tweet, based on the virality of it, how nuclear one on X is, yeah, people like this stuff. Here's a post by Kash Patel, friend of mine. Obviously, I can't claim to be completely objective on this, but, we heard from the liberal media and the doomers. Patel and the FBI crushed violent crime, but they took away, Justin, you remember this one? They took assets away from counterterrorism and Chinese Communist Party espionage. We did? That's news to me because we upped those assets. Now we find out that they announced a major disruption of a global botnet and hacking platform used by the Chinese Communist Party. Whatever, man, nothing. I guess nothing's happening. Everything these people told you, the doomers, the grifters, the bums, the liberal media, and the communist goons about nothing happening, is just a lie. Yeah, we crushed violent crime. And yeah, we crushed the Chinese Communist Party espionage efforts. And yes, we've crushed a bunch of terror networks. Did you see what happened yesterday with the State Department and Antifa? You realize the Trump administration is the first one to successfully prosecute Antifa? You probably missed that too if you're on the doom and gloom side. Nothing is happening. That's why it's just really rewarding to watch this mass exodus on X from the doomer grifter crowd. Like, hey, you have no idea how many emails we get. We should have listened to you, man, when you told us this stuff was going down. Let me show you what I mean here. Here's another thing. I love hearing from them that, nothing's happening on the deep state public. Okay, we'll have to see about that, I guess. When the 4 years are up and all of these things, which take some time, I wish they didn't sometimes, but they do. It's the right way to do it. When that body of work is done, we're going to compare your predictions versus the results. It's not going to end well for you. You're going to look like a moron, and even more people are going to realize what a grifter and fraud you are. But however, I hear this all the time. What are we doing about political corruption? Well, there have been a ton of cases. From Gavin Newsom's office to Kathy Hochul to a whole boatload of cases we worked. BLM to SPLC. Not so much public corruption in that case, but you get the point. Against some of these people using their politics for illicit gains. Here's another addition to the Nothing is Happening file. Here's a couple of arrests that came out of the Massachusetts area for massive, massive fraud. Hat tip Nick Shirley, Cam Higbee, and others who exposed a lot of this stuff. Again, people told you nothing's going to happen. These fraudsters never get locked up. We're up to like 200 something arrests just at the federal level alone. And now we see this happen. Yes, so you can add this to the Nothing is Happening file. Check this out.
This morning, we arrested Massachusetts State Representative Francisco Paulino, who represents the 16th Essex District, which includes the cities of Lawrence and Methuen, for pandemic unemployment insurance fraud, pandemic loan fraud, and money laundering. He is charged in an 11-count indictment that was unsealed today. A grand jury in Boston also returned an 11-count indictment charging the sitting mayor of Lawrence, Brian DePina, with pandemic loan fraud and money laundering. As many of you know, Mayor DePina was arrested last week on a criminal complaint. He is alleged to have stolen approximately $1.5 million in public taxpayer money he used to fund his mayoral campaign, pay his personal tax liabilities, and pay off personal loans.
Hat tip Nick Sorter for that video there, getting that up there. Again, folks, I know people are telling you, and there's like a movement, NPC movement on X, to be brainless, that the Trump administration is not doing anything, but also, and then the stuff, then they just move on to the next doom and gloom complaint just to get you to not vote and demoralize you. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Nothing is, I hear this all the time. Folks, we are winning. We are winning. I want you to make no mistake about this. And yes, I will show you big time receipts coming up right now. If the liberal media, if their liberal allies, if the commies and the socialists, the Islamo-fanatics in conjunction with their doomer grifter pillars, if they were winning, it would reflect in a poll. A poll is a measure of public opinion, correct? So a receipt would be if the doom and gloom crowd and the Trump administration is not doing anything, there's nothing to vote for, crowd was winning, then it would reflect on intra-party approval for President Trump. Correct? Is anything I'm saying? Anyone in the chat dispute this? If Republicans, if there was a real genuine movement within the party telling you how awful things are, nothing's happening, if it actually had any grip, they would have won some primaries. They won none of them. They got smoked. And Donald Trump's approval rating within the Republican Party is at historic highs. So I don't understand, like at some point, are you ever going to produce a receipt to try to grab back the audience you're losing with the constant dooming? Because people aren't stupid. People are not stupid. When CNN is forced to admit this again in a poll, you can pretty much take it to the bank because they're not pro-Trump. I think that's fairly obvious. There is no constituency for crapping on the administration's accomplishments over the last year and a half. There's none. It just doesn't exist. Receipts incoming. Check this out.
You know, sometimes we have these polls and, they're favorable polls or approval polls and they're in the moment. But I just love this one. Okay. The president Republicans most admire. It's Donald Trump. This is a historic comparison. A majority of Republicans say, 53% say he's the Republican president they most admire. Ronald Reagan, who traditionally has won that much, Donald Trump nearly triples up on this. Reagan at just 18%. And then Abraham Lincoln, who by most historic accounts is the greatest president of all time. But Republicans say that the president that they most admire by, what is this? This is 6-7 times as many, Donald John Trump at 53%, easily crushing Abe Lincoln at 8%. And the Elon poll showed that he was the greatest president as well.
Again, at some point, aren't you obligated to produce some evidence that your hypothesis is in fact an accurate metric for the real world? Justin's like, Dan, stop with like evidence and science and data and facts. Like, no. If you just keep saying it, Trump sucks. RFK sucks. JD sucks. Rubio sucks. Hegseth sucks. Like at some point, are you going to produce evidence that that's actually a thing? Money's innocent. Just laugh at these people. It's become a clown show. It's become a clown show. It's like the people on X who post every day. Dan Bongino is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Then why are you posting about me every day? Girl, don't go away mad. As Motley Crue said, just go away. It's okay. Thank you. Every day I see, it's hilarious to watch. Just make fun of these people. You may say, well, all right, Donald Trump's really popular. Good results, viral tweet, 25 huge accomplishments is probably more than that. But it's reflecting in the congressional generic ballot where Republicans are just getting killed. People prefer Democrats because this whole flock of Republicans thinks Donald Trump sucks, despite no evidence that's actually true. Okay, we just pulled this at Poll Tracker 2024 on X. An active vote poll, generic congressional ballot. Oh my gosh, there's only like, a 3-point difference? Democrats 51%, Republicans 40%. I thought it was a massive, massive shift. I thought the Democrats were up by like 50 points. We were getting killed. We were getting crushed. This is probably roughly within the margin of error. Folks, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't get into red wave, blue wave predictions. We tried that once. Bad idea. Stupid. There's an election coming up. You need to go out and vote. That's it. I'm just telling you, like people telling you, we're going to get crushed. We're going to lose 600 seats. There aren't 600 seats. Doesn't matter. We're going to lose them anyway. That these people are probably lying to you. Remember my 10, 10, and 10 rule. It is up to you to go out and vote, but not by yourself. That's not going to win an election. I'm sorry. There are very few elections decided by one vote. Many are decided by 10. It's happened. It's happened, but it's rare. Can we agree? But your vote matters. But your voice matters even more. Email 10 people, 10 friends of yours. Put it on one email. You don't have to send 10 separate emails. Hey, guys, you getting ready to vote? Here's whatever. I live in Martin County, Florida. Here's how to vote in Martin County. Make 10 social media posts and call 10 of your friends. Or just meet up with 10 of your friends. Hey, you voting? You know how to vote? You registered? Oh, I don't want to get into that stuff. I don't want to lose friends. You want to lose your country? Because, folks, this is our job. The Democrats do this all the time. You do the 10, 10, and 10. This we have right now, it's only 10:22 if you're watching live. We have 40,000 people watching right now, 20 minutes in, despite the Clancy thing being on TV. We filled an entire football stadium full of people. If all of you just went out and did the 10, 10, and 10, not only will we not lose, we could win and hold the House and the Senate. In the end, votes matter. And don't tell me it's not possible. Remember the midterms, the Joe Biden midterms? Do you guys remember this? I know you guys do. I warned everybody. There was all this talk. Folks in the chat, who remembers this for our P1s? I warned you over and over. Stop the red wave talk. Remember, like Joe Biden sucks. There's going to be a massive red wave. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Because if there is a red wave, people who are on the margin about voting are going to say like, hey, man, I don't need to vote. We're going to win in a landslide. It's a huge mistake. The Democrats are doing the same thing now. They're out there. There's going to be a blue wave. Folks, there's not going to be a blue wave if you show up. The Democrats showed up, and the midterms were not horrendous for Biden. They weren't great, but they weren't horrendous. There's a way to win elections. Vote. And I know, listen, this isn't me. Don't take this as in any way a condescending. Dan, of course, I know, but there are some people on the fence who think your vote doesn't matter. Your vote, one, does matter, and it matters even more if you can grab 10 people to go with you. Drive them to the polls. Do whatever you need to do. Folks, I'd show you my phone, but I don't want to disclose who it is. I'd be more than happy to show you my 30 or 40 texts copied and pasted to 30 or 40 friends about my ballot selections down here in Florida, from Martin County Commission all the way up to agriculture, the AG, governor's race, Senate. I promise, I'm not speaking with forked tongue. I do it too. You need an elect for the general? I'm happy to send it to you. I've got some real thoughts on the general too. Oh, yes, Justin, you can get it first here. Oh, look at this. This is not even part of the show. Well, it's part of the show, but it wasn't my part of the show. What's the date on that? July 21st, 2024, right before the midterms. This is an actual Dan Bongino tweet. This is why I hate red wave or landslide chatter. It's presumptive and stupid. 1,000 different things could change from now until election day. Assume we're down by 10 or more, and commit to voting like it. And bring 10 or more people with you to the polls. This thing isn't even close to being over. Love me, hate me, whatever. I'm always consistent. I'm not going to BS you. I bring receipts. I've been saying the same thing forever. Yeah, please. Oh, the presidential. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, July 21st, 2024, obviously. As the kids say, my bad. Oh, the Nelson months. It's the presidential. It doesn't matter. Just vote. Forget red wave, blue wave, any of that crap. This is so important. The Donald Trump legacy, just a year and a half in, is, there are going to be books written on all the stuff that changed. I'm going to tell you something. And I got to I'm like way over. And there's like a format to the show. I've totally disregarded it. So, yeah, I know. Today's probably pretty good for him. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. So let me just preface this in advance. And whatever you say, they probably shouldn't say, but this is necessary. Trump's first year was such a shock to the system that things happened so fast. The border was closed almost overnight. He swore in, and the next day, everything changed. Crime rates dropped so precipitously. His commitment to getting investment back and reshored onto the United States soil for high-tech manufacturing and jobs happened so fast that, honestly, I think, and this is the painful part to say, I think the administration were victims of their own success. I do. I think people are so used to slow roll politics and milquetoast statements and white papers that so much stuff happens so fast that now, like every day, they expect a new earthquake. The thing about shutting the border, ladies and gents, is when it's shut, it's shut. Like you can't, yes, you have to maintain the border being closed. I get that. But you can't go from zero to negative people. Like once 0 people are admitted, that's it. That's the lower bound. I think they were victims of their own success. And I mean that as a huge compliment. Because the stuff that happened just happened so fast and was so, people have been talking about shutting the border, Republicans and Democrats, actually old blue dogs, for decades and none of it happened. I got more coming up in a minute, including, folks, I told you that administration officials, not just me, I was the first one out. They swung at me and missed bad. Talk about a whiff. But as administration officials come out, you're going to see more and more of them become targets of the left, the doomers, because they can't have Donald Trump's legacy be success, because then they'd have to run against it. I'm going to show you a clip about what I mean, where now RFK is a target too. He's not even out. He's still in the administration and the cabinet. That's actually a terrible segue. Guy does. Justin's like, maybe they have to drive against the card. No. The good, bad, good, not bad attempt. No good. Get Guy back in the transition mix. Guy, come on. You got to police this stuff. He's got to get better at this. Car Shield. Hey, I've had that moment before when the check engine light pops. It's a great company. And suddenly, you're doing math in your head. What's this repair going to cost? Everything's expensive. Everything's electronic now. A bumper used to cost you like $100 back in the 70s. Now forget it. You get a scratch, you get these big bills. It's never at a convenient time, and these days, car repairs, they're not getting any cheaper. That's the reason we love and we endorse Car Shield. They help protect hardworking Americans with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, and rental car options, so you're not left stranded when something goes wrong. You can choose your own ASE-certified mechanic and have the work done by someone you trust. With inflation driving up the cost of just about everything, one unexpected breakdown can wreck your monthly budget. Car Shield offers flexible month-to-month plans and low deductibles to help keep your repair costs predictable. Real independence means not being trapped on the side of the highway waiting for a tow truck you can't afford. CarShield gives you total freedom with 24/7 roadside assistance and covered repairs paid directly to the shop of your choice. So right now, CarShield is offering our listeners 20% off with the code Bongino at carshield.com/Bongino, Bongino. Visit carshield.com/Bongino. Lock in your coverage today. Protect yourself from expensive car repairs. Again, go to carshield.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for 20% off. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. We really appreciate it. Good company. So thanks, CarShield. Okay, here's what I mean. There are two things involved in winning an election. Snapshots and sound bites, you get that. But two tactical things you have to do. Explain what you did. The Donald Trump administration, President Trump's team, has a litany of things they did. You can read it in the Rod Martin tweet. But you also have to explain and warn what the other side is going to do. And what the other side is going to do, the Democrats and the socialists, is really bad. They're going to steal your health care. They're going to destroy your school system. They're going to destroy the local economy. You're seeing it now up in New York. They are also going to engage in, if we lose this midterm, in a 2-year cycle of weaponized government, ridiculous hearings, impeachments. I told you, I'm always right about this stuff. I was the first one out. They swung and missed. Now you're going to see they're going to start to focus on others trying to take them down too, because they're afraid of taking Trump on directly. So they're going to do it by trying to pick all the feathers off the goose before they kill the goose, okay? Here's what I mean. Here's an interview I just saw. Now they want to impeach RFK. I told you, they're going to try to go after every single person. Always bring receipts. Check this out.
This is one of the reasons Democrats winning across the country in November is so urgent. If we take the House and we take the Senate, we can impeach and remove RFK Jr. And if we don't, he's going to have 2 more years of unfettered access to America's public health infrastructure. And that will be disastrous.
I warned you. I warned you. I've said it over and over. All you've got to do is play their own words. They're actually advertising the fact that they're running on affordability. We're going to get the country back. We're going to do all these things. They never tell you what these things are. But when they slip up on TV and actually do admit it, we want to steal your healthcare. We want to weaponize the government for 2 years and engage in a bunch of useless hearings. When they tell you, you should listen to them. And when they do slip up and tell you what they're going to do, we are not going to let you run away from it. Folks, the title of today's show is Glue It to Them. Glue it. Get your crazy glue out and glue the policies to them. When they say things like, and campaign with people who say things like, October 7th rapes don't really matter to me. We deserve 9/11. We want government-run health care for all. Do not let them run from it. Don't. You may say, well, that's not fair. Not every Democrat running is saying this. Okay, then get them on the record and ask them, this person said this running under your Democrat umbrella, correct? You're not running as an independent, Debbie Dingell and others. You're running as a Democrat. This person's running on your team, Team Democrat. He has said, or she has said, crazy things. And I want to know, since you're running under the same team, can I expect you to run on those same ideas? Tell us which ideas are unacceptable in your party. They won't do it. Receipts incoming. They're panicked. They are trying to hide. Do not let them hide. Glue it to them. Here's Michigan Representative Debbie Dingell. Debbie Dingell, total buffoon. Here's Debbie Dingell. She's in Michigan. Why am I bringing that up? Anybody know? Because the U.S. Senate nominee in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed, is the one campaigning with the guy who thinks we deserve 9/11. She's in Michigan. I would think it's going to be the same voters voting for her that would vote for El-Sayed. It's kind of like obligatory that you issue some kind of statement about, did we deserve 9/11? No. Here's Debbie Dingell's response. Automatically run, duck, hide. No. We're not going to let you do it. Glue this stuff to them. Check this out.
Sayed said in a statement that, quote, nobody speaks for this campaign besides me and my campaign spokespeople, end quote. And he accused politicians and pundits of trying to make this race about a Twitch streamer. Are you satisfied with how El-Sayed has handled this uproar?
Look, I'm going to say this to you. I'm tired of people trying to drag me into it. I strongly disagree with many of the things that Hassan Piker said, from Israel to, quite frankly, if you're a woman who has fought against sexual violence and domestic violence her whole life, what he has said about rape, etc., is simply inexcusable.
So when are you going to speak out about El Sayed? He's campaigning with him. You hear in the beginning the unrighteous indignation. I'm getting tired of it. Well, you're getting tired of it. We're all tired of it. Notice the Chiron, Debbie Dingle, D, Michigan. You're trying to appeal to some of the same voters. Maybe it's time to stand up and do the right thing and not the easy thing. I got the Axios thing, but pull up Jared Polis next. Here's another guy. Democrat, Colorado, claims to be like a moderate, right? Here's Jared Polis asked the same question. Ladies and gentlemen, do not let them, oh, we have a big tent. Oh, really? Oh, really? We have a big tent. Just let shoe on other foot for a moment. Again, you get a guy running who wins a Republican Party nomination for freaking dog catcher, forget about U.S. Senate, and goes on the record and says, I want to bring back concentration camps. I think it's a good idea. Will you be like, wait, what? No, you're not running under our banner. We don't want you. Okay? Notice how when Polis is asked this question, we got a big tent. Okay, well, who's in the tent? You know what? We had a party once for my wife. There was a little bit of a tent. I didn't let Jason Voorhees and serial killers in there because I don't want those people in the tent. The question isn't, do you have a big tent? The question is, who is allowed in your tent and why? Are there any ideas that are unacceptable? Do not let them run away from this stuff. Glue it to them. They want to hide it from you so it doesn't see first contact with the real world. No, not doing it. Check this out.
What do you think should be done about Hassan Piker from the Democratic establishment's point of view?
Well, look, I mean, both parties are big tents, but also the media is a big tent. And, I've always been of the mind myself where I go on shows and take on people I disagree with. I mean, look at the network I'm on right now. I'm never afraid to go with any of your hosts on this show or anywhere else. So, I mean, as long as you maintain true to your principles, I think it's fine to go on anywhere, talk to anybody.
Bro, you're the governor of Colorado. You have an obligation to say who's allowed in your tent and who's not. It's your freaking team. Glue this stuff to them. Do not let him off the hook. Yeah, great. Big tent. Fantastic. Who's allowed in the tent and who isn't? And why haven't you made that clear? Folks, it's because of what I said in the beginning of the show. The Democrats insist on hiding stuff from you because they know what, if you see it, you'll change your mind. Just like if you see what an abortion looks like, you'll change your mind. That's why they go nuts when people show up. This is what an abortion looks like. That's why Democrats and liberals who support abortion go freaking crazy. Because if you see it, you'll change your mind. That's why they hide it from you. They play word games. They use euphemisms. They never tell you what they're really doing. I just told you in the beginning of the show with the Rod Martin post. Here's what Trump did. There it is. You go read it yourself. This is great stuff. No one's hiding it. We have a file, the Nothing is Happening file, which is a humorous attempt to make these idiots that say nothing is happening look like fools by showing you what's actually happening. We're doing the opposite. The Democrats, all they do is play word games and dance like Dancing Justin, not Producer Justin. That's all they do. Axios had a whole piece about this morning. How Andy Beshear, who's another fake, phony fraud, by the way, Democrat governor of Kentucky, again, he pretends to be like, he's a blue dog moderate. He is not. He's a liberal like everyone else. Stop falling for this act, please. Kentucky Democrat Governor Beshear has been the most vocal. Oh, now all of a sudden, he's such a phony. Has been most vocal about Democrats' need to, quote, talk like normal human beings. Beshear told Michigan Democrats in April, the party's repelled red and swing state voters with terms like justice-involved population. Yeah, they're called criminals. Food insecure. What do you mean, like hungry people? Substance use disorder instead of addiction? I'll throw some more in there. Undocumented. No, illegal. The reason you have documents when you need documents because you're here illegally. The unhoused. What is the unhoused? You mean homeless people? Gender affirmation. Yes, there's gender affirmation. It's called a penis. That means you're a dude. That's gender affirmation. If you have the opposite equipment, you're a woman. That's gender affirmation. Abortion, reproductive care. No, you're not reproductive. It's anti-reproductive care. An abortion is killing a baby. That's anti-reproduction. Why? Why do they play euphemisms, words games? They do it because they want to hide from you what they're really doing. Medicare for all, meaning free market healthcare for no one. Folks, there is no escaping these ideas. Glue them to the Democrats and do not let them escape. And here's the catch. When they slip up and tell you who they really are, believe them, but take it, run with it, and use their own words against them. There is nothing more damning than taking a politician or someone running for office's own words and slapping them in an ad and saying almost nothing else. Because there's no refuting, a third party said that you could. No, it's the first party, you. This is a phenomenal ad. I've got two of them. They're quick. You know Talafrico running for U.S. Senate in Texas? I have never seen a candidate less suited for a state's politics than James Talarico running in Texas. I've never seen a guy so less suited for a state. It's like running in Florida and telling people you hate beaches and the sun. It's like you're running in Alaska and going, you know what? I hate the snow. Nobody come here. It's too cold. What are you doing, bro? This Talafrico guy is a straight up lunatic. That's why this ad, this minute long, is so good, because all it is Talafrico telling you why he earned the nickname Talafrico. This guy's running in Texas. Glue this stuff to them. Check it out.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
God is non-binary. There are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity. Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity. They're gonna call me a radical leftist.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
Low T Talarico, too weak for Texas.
Hat tip, Lone Star, Liberty PAC. You just nailed it, crushed it. Whoever does your social or marketing or ads, take a bow. Take a hat tip, take a bow. Beautiful. Why? You don't have to say anything. Just wrap it up. Just let them talk. Folks, if you're in Texas, anyone in Texas in the chat? Stupid question, but we got a huge. Folks, announce yourselves in the chat. Are people falling for this? Yeah, listen, I know you have pockets of very liberal areas. They keep Austin weird. I get it. I spent a lot of time in Texas, like a huge amount of time in Texas. We have a huge footprint in Texas. I get it. And I love Texas. Texas. Who thought of that one? The cactus probably more Arizona, but who's falling for this? Glue this stuff to me. Is anybody? Yeah, folks, please give me some insight, because I see these polls, some of these other polls, and I'm like, this can't be true. Like, there's no way this guy's even over 45%. If that guy wins the U.S. Senate race in Texas, I'll be stunned. that looks more like New Mexico or Arizona. You got like a boot in there. Like, all right, we'll give you that for Texas. Texas is probably the boot capital. All right, we get it. 3. Now you're just like, now they're just rubbing it in. Here's another one. I'm trying to show you these political ads because so many people are putting such great work. Listen, these ads matter. Spencer Pratt nearly pulled off the upset of the political millennia in Los Angeles mayor's race. It wasn't for all the nonsense that happened at the end by running great social and ads and third parties doing it for him as well. Here's a minute on El Sayed running in Michigan with a bunch of union workers that love their employer-provided health care plan, and others trying to tell him he's going to steal their health care. Just listen to his own words. Glue it to him. When you play their own words, it's impossible to say, oh, you're lying. You're lying. It's you. Check this out.
Look, I'm not going to defend the Green New Deal. I talk about the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal. It's extremely powerful and ought to be harnessed and invested in.
It is a critical framework for thinking about how to solve climate change, infrastructure, and racism at the same time.
If we want to solve the real challenge of economic instability, then the Green New Deal does that. Look, I'm not going to defend the Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal posits that if we're serious about taking on climate change, we need to rethink our economy around building green infrastructure.
A Green New Deal that helps us address climate change, as I think is critical. And I want you to think about what the Green New Deal is. It is an interlocking system of solutions to an interlocking system of problems. Making Detroit the engine of the Green New Deal, to me, recognizes that as Detroit goes, America goes.
Do you understand this guy with his Green New scam nonsense is going to put you auto workers out there in Michigan? There are a lot of you out of business. I'm just trying to show you what he said so he can't hide from it later. This is what they do. Rug, sweep it up. No, there's none of that. Folks, there are two components to any election. Tell people what you did and tell people what your opponents are going to do. We have got to get better at this. There are a lot of people really good at it. The Liberty PAC that we saw, Lone Star Liberty PAC, amazing. That's what Talafrico believes in. 75 genders or whatever, 6 genders. There's 2. It's not hard. El Sayed's a big Green New Deal guy? Really? You want to build gas-powered engines in Detroit and Michigan? That's your guy? The guy wants to steal your healthcare plan too? That's your guy? Tell them what they're going to do. But I want to throw this in there too, because I want to give you a little. I try not to make the show, again, too much about me and my time in the Trump administration. Not because I think it's boring or anything. I just think there's a lot going on. And I just, when it's relevant, it's relevant. Many of you probably saw this clip. The Philadelphia lunatic Larry Krasner, DA down there, talking about like blowing up the White House. But I'm going to play this for a different reason. You probably heard hundreds of pieces of commentary on it between radio and Fox and Newsmax and elsewhere yesterday. But I want to bring up a point here. Folks, that year in the administration was really, really life-changing in so many positive ways. It was the honor of a lifetime. But Donald Trump's accomplishments listed in the beginning of the show in that Rod Martin viral tweet, those are just 25. There are more. I think are even more profound, given the fact that Donald Trump, it reminds me of that, I think it's Game of Thrones, the Giphy where the guy's pulling out the sword and all the I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I see it on X all the time. And all the horses and the soldiers are coming at him. Donald Trump was like one guy against the media, Hollywood, the entertainment community, academia, some swampy Republicans, all of the Democrats, the commies, the Islamo-fanatics, foreign governments hated him because they wanted to screw over the United States. Like it was Donald Trump against the world. I bring that up because his accomplishments and having lived through it are so much more profound when you saw from the inside how much resistance there was to almost everything he did. You know how many people we had to unload at the FBI who just, we found really bad things and we realized over time, like these people were not doing their job and were acting unethically. There was so much institutional resistance everywhere. I bring it up in terms of this video, this Larry Krasner video, because imagine being in the FBI, focused like a laser on 5 or 6 headline issues, but one of them being the epidemic of violent crime in blue cities, and having to work with this guy as a partner. Here's Larry Krasner talking about like blowing up the White House ballroom. Like this is just insanity. The fact that the Trump administration got anything done having to deal with these idiots is unbelievable. And even more so when you listen to this. Check this out.
I'm going to have a paperweight sitting on my desk. You know what that paperweight's going to be? It's going to be a piece of the ballroom after we all blow it up. That's what it's going to be. In an official ceremony, just so we're clear. in an official ceremony. We're going to blow it up, and we're going to give the taxpayers their money back by selling all the pieces as paperweights, and I will have one on my desk.
Petulant in the chat. Unacceptable. I demand Bongino and his lady watch Game of Thrones. I like that. I get what you did there, lady. Throw that in Game of Thrones. I've seen a couple episodes. That's it. Maybe I'll get to it someday. I'm watching a couple different shows now, so I don't have a ton of time, but maybe one day I'll get there. There's probably, 8 seasons or something, so I have a lot of time. Folks, I told my guys in the Philadelphia field office, the New York field office, and elsewhere in the FBI, I said, listen, the cops there are great. Don't worry about the cops. They'll be there for you. But the bureaucrats, the mayor, the DAs, and a lot of some ADAs who are just liberals talking about blowing up the White House and crazy stuff, you don't work for them. I told them this, if not once, 1,000 times. It's probably on some video somewhere. We used to do these civets calls, these secure video calls. You don't work for them. If they don't want to help, we have a bunch of federal laws we can use, UFAP warrants and elsewhere, well, we're just going to go and grab people. You don't work for them. And most of them were really good about it, but we had a few supervisors in the office, AORs, areas of responsibility, who'll be like, the guy was saying that, we shouldn't, I don't care what he said. You don't work for him. You work for the Attorney General, the FBI, who reports to the president. This is it. We're cleaning up violent crime. Either get on the team or get the hell out of management. Oh, you found it. Yeah, this is the Giphy. It's from Game of Thrones, right? Like, I'm not crazy. This is it. That's Donald Trump. Like, against the entire establishment in the media, academia, the sports world, Hollywood, media, but I said that twice. Swampy Republicans, and he still got stuff done. When I was there, Todd Blanche, who's now the Attorney General, was the DAG, the Deputy Attorney General, and he effectively supervises the FBI. He's the guy you report to direct. If he needs an answer, he then goes to the AG. But typically, you deal with the DAG. So I dealt with Attorney General Blanche more than anyone. AG Blanche brought this up the other day about these crazy lunatics and all these people. We're doing our job with the Trump administration. If not, we're just going to do it with or without you. We're getting it done. Donald Trump's cleaning up the streets, even if you don't want to clean up your own. Here was Todd Blanche on this yesterday. Listen to this. Check this out.
The ballroom is being built, and it's disgusting that a district attorney in Philadelphia, who, by the way, has a city with its own problems, is so focused on what the president is doing at the White House. And by the way, and so that's something we're continuing to litigate. The ballroom is being built; it's not stopped, and the Supreme Court issued the stay, which allows us to continue to do the work. And this isn't just about a safe, secure place for the president and his family and world.
Folks, I promise you, AG Blanche gets it. He doesn't, I don't want to say he doesn't care with Kras. Of course he cares. Obviously he's talking about, but he doesn't care in that it's going to alter his behavior. We have an office in Philly, and we're going to clean up your streets, even if you don't want to. If you're more focused on blowing up the White House rather than the crack dealer on your corner, that's okay. You do what you want to do, but we're cleaning it up no matter what. And that's why I get frankly pissed off at all the hits on the president. Oh, some of the stuff he does. But what's he doing for politics? You think he's going to win Philadelphia? He's cleaning up D.C. You think he's doing that for politics? D.C. is probably the only place where you can lose as a Republican 125% of the votes. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do, not the easy thing. The easy thing is to say, you know what? Let the city just rot then. No, we're not letting the city rot. No, we're not.
We all blow it up.
Yeah, we know. You have. And folks, don't buy into, again, any of these crazy ideas the left is trying to hide. I saw this yesterday. Konstantin Kisin, I like his content. He brought this up about immigration. The whole euphemisms game we play with immigration. Oh, undocumented, all this stuff. And then we treat immigrants to the country like with kid gloves. Like the American citizens who've been here forever, busting their ass and paying the taxes, are second-class citizens in their own country. No, I'm sorry. I'm not telling you like every human being isn't a child of God. But it's our country. It's our club. It's our team. We financed it. We drafted the players. We did all the work. We did the scouting. We produced this stuff. Your fathers, grandfathers, and you built this place. The carpenters, the electricians, the plumbers, the HVAC guys. We did this. The architects, the pilots. We all did this. The military men and women, the law enforcement folks. We're not second-class citizens in our own country. If you are going to come here because you want to be part of our team, then you better align with our values. It's not our job to align with yours. And you shouldn't make any apologies for it. There's about a minute of Konstantin Kisin saying this exact same thing. You want to come here and be part of our team? Then there's a set of team rules. And if you don't like it, then just don't come here. We're not second-class citizens in our own country. Sorry, not sorry. Check this out.
Immigrants in particular, and I say this as an immigrant, we should adjust our expectations and our behavior to the culture and laws of this society instead of demanding that our heritage and our cultural traditions become the traditions of this society. I don't believe that's what this country is for. The British people have been very welcoming to people from all over the world, but my view is that was always on the understanding that the people who come become citizens of this country in the fullest meaning of that term. That means that they contribute to the society. My view, and I've been saying this to people in the political realm for a very long time, and it's only recently become acceptable for them to say, is I don't understand why people who are not citizens of this country get access to the benefit system, get access to welfare, get access to social housing. These are not things that should be happening. If you want to come here from another country, get a good job, pay your taxes, that's wonderful. And if you eventually want to become a British citizen and acquire the rights and responsibilities that brings, there's a process for that, and I think as I am at the end of that process, you should be incredibly proud of having done that. That should be an achievement. Becoming a British citizen, as it is in America, should become an achievement that you're proud of, that you're buying into something.
Yeah, folks, do not be shamed into speaking proudly about the values of citizenship and you being one. You are not second-class citizens on your own baseball team. It's your baseball team. It's really great that people around the world recognize the greatness of the United States and want to come here. But we don't have to admit every single person. We don't have to admit anyone if we don't want to. It's our club. It's our team. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad the argument is starting, the Overton window on this is starting to move into reality, where people are like, you know what, I'm proud. I'm proud. Sometimes I have some stuff, and in radio, somebody asked Vince, like Vince been in radio. They've got these things in radio. I don't know what they call them, talkers, or like, they're these little things. When I used to do radio at WCBM, they would print this thing up in the morning, and it would be like 20 or 30 things that people are discussing on social media, what else, I don't know, talkers or whatever. So I don't know what to call them. So I just called this today like the PS file, like postscript on the show, because I don't know where to fit these things, but I think they're really important. Folks, your kids, many of them are going back to school, right? I think it was in Northeast. There's still a little bit of summer going on, September 7th. But your kids are going back to school, right? Do you know your rights for your kids? I bring this up because there's an article in the Wall Street Journal, whether you subscribe or not, that you need to read by Ian Pryor. It's called Parents, Know Your Rights as School Begins. And I got to tell you, there were things I did not think about because the schools, my kids go to don't do a lot of this craziness. However, what if your kid goes back to school and you find out like there's a teacher in your school trying to transition your child? Like, what are your rights? Do you know about FERPA? Do you know about PPRA? Do you know about your right to opt out of classes on like LGBTQ2A spirit stuff? Do you know about your access to your kids' records? Folks, this Wall Street Journal article lays out specifically what to do, and it refers you, by the way, to America First Legal. You've probably heard of them, that they have guidebooks for all this. Listen to me. Know your rights before, because I hope this doesn't happen to any of you in the audience, but sadly it may. Your kid, your young daughter may come home from school and go, Daddy, some boy just walked in and I was told in the men's or the women's room, and I was told if I say something, I'm going to be suspended. You better know your rights in advance. You have rights there. Title IX, you have rights. I cover the whole article, but it's expansive. And again, America First Legal has some options in there. You go to their website, it says they have some guides. Know your rights. Your kids are back in school, and let me tell you something. You're going to get bullied around by these administrators the second you say, actually, sir, these Title IX specifically prohibits that, and we're contacting our attorney. I guarantee you everything changes. Know your rights. You see why I put it in the PS file? Because I don't know where to stick it, so I just threw it at the end of the show. Didn't know where to stick it. Sometimes the show. Here's another one. I saw this in the Washington Post this morning. Folks, this again, this actually had a place in the show. I probably should have stuck it right in the beginning of the show. I told you the reason I repeat things so many times is because the Democrats excel on this. It's how they get people to believe stupid stuff like socialism works. The Washington Post. This is a really disturbing story. Wyoming, probably the reddest, if not one of the reddest states in the entire country. One of the reddest conservative areas in the entire world. That they know, the Washington Post, Wyoming Republicans just proved the rhino narrative wrong. A Freedom Caucus wipeout in the reddest state in America shows who GOP voters want running things. The premise of the case is this, that UT Party, conservative MAGA types are all wrong. They want old swampy Republicans. They're exaggerating a bit in a piece. They bring up Kansas and all this other stuff. I'm just telling you, like, even amongst Republicans, the reason the socialist message can be appealing sometimes is because they repeat it, they lie often, they lie confidently, and they isolate people from the truth. That's why on this show, we do the opposite. And that's why the show is done so well, because people know they're going to get the truth, and we're going to hammer it. All right, we got Vince Colanese coming up. You're not going to want to miss this interview. We cover a whole bunch of topics. Everybody loves Vince. We also are doing our 1776 contest. Official rules at Bongino.com/1776. Once a week, we give away $1,776 to one of our live viewers in the chat. Check out the rules. The comment of the day today is Jay Hashichu. Dan, your storage facility for all the receipts must be ginormous. It is. I actually forget about some of the receipts we produced. So much so, Justin's got to bring up my tweets from 2024. I don't even remember sending that, but it's the same thing I'm telling you now. We have receipts. That's what separates us from everyone else. That's why these other people just can't stop talking about it. They can't stop talking about it. But like, it's boiling bunny stuff. All right. We're going to take a quick break, sponsor, and then we'll get to Vince. Don't miss that interview. Delete Me. Hey, have you ever thought I should really be doing something to protect myself from stalkers, scammers, and hackers, but you're not sure what? I'm going to tell you. Go with Delete Me. Go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino, enter code Bongino. You'll get 20% off Delete Me. What does Delete Me do? Well, I'll answer that for you. Delete Me removes your personal information that's being sold online. These days, so much of our personal information is floating around the internet. In the age of AI, that can be a real concern for your privacy, your safety, and elsewhere. As someone with a really active online presence, privacy is really important to me. I like having a service that does the hard work of finding and removing that information from data broker sites so I don't have to. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me today, now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino and use promo code Bongino at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino, enter code Bongino at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Bongino, code Bongino. Welcoming to the show, our good buddy Vince Colanese has one of the most popular radio shows in the country from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern, radio stations everywhere. He is also the king of morning podcasting, 8 a.m. Eastern time every day at rumble.com/Vince. If you want to watch live, of course, you can always watch on demand as well. Vince has been crushing it in the morning. Vince, welcome back to the show. You know we love having you here, so thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Dan. Love doing it, man.
Yeah, me too. We've had a good time being on your radio show and just going back and forth. It's really working out well for me. The radio, we've kind of like taken over. I think we're on from now 5 a.m. to 6 every night between you, me, Sean. So that's great news. But I was scrolling through your X feed because I noticed sometimes when I do hits on other folks' shows, they're like, well, what are you hot about? So I was scrolling through your feed and I saw a couple really interesting things. Yeah, I want to go to I was going to talk about this second, but I want to go to this because I missed this one totally. The lunatic governor of New Jersey who claimed to be a moderate Democrat, who's now turned into like a full-blown commie, Mikey Sherrill. She said something outrageous, and I got to tell you, I'm a little embarrassed. I missed this. I don't know how I missed this gem. And by gem, I don't mean that like a diamond. I mean like a flaming turd in a diaper. She had said that it is, a quote, easier to get an AR-15 than to get an abortion. Now, how I missed this, I don't know. This may go down as one of the single dumbest politician quotes I've ever seen. That's the whole idea. If you're going to kill a human being, it should probably be a little bit more difficult than to try to protect yourself with a firearm against getting killed by another human being.
This is the perfect Democrat statement because everything about it is incoherent. Now, first of all, like, unfortunately, it's probably untrue. It's actually harder to get an AR-15 than it is to kill a child in America. And it shouldn't be that way. You've got a Second Amendment right to defend yourself and your family. And it should be very easy, actually, for a law-abiding citizen to obtain an AR-15. But having said that, listen to what she's lamenting, Dan. She's lamenting that it is harder to kill children than it is to defend your family. It's really upsetting how difficult it is to kill babies and how easy it is to arm yourself and defend yourself. And by the way, an AR-15 in particular, I mean, you worked at the FBI. I mean, you want to drill down on the data on this subject? AR-15s are not used in the commission of crimes all over the place. AR-15s are owned by lots of law-abiding citizens. It's the most popular rifle in America. People use it for all sorts of reasons, hunting, sport, and yes, home protection, and protecting against that Second Amendment concern of tyranny. No question whatsoever about it. People own AR-15s. If she was really serious about it, she'd go after the handgun problem that exists in places like Newark, New Jersey, that she's not talking about at all. And so it's a kind of a perfect Democrat statement because it's both incoherent, it's a lie, it's in the service of more child sacrifice, and of robbing you of your liberty. So she's nailing it if it comes to just being a Democrat in good standing.
Yeah, I saw that on your X feed. Give Vince Colonnese a follow on X, excuse me. I had COVID a couple weeks ago, and I'm still like in the remnants of it. You know, it's like the 47th time I've had this damn thing. It's freaking ridiculous. That's why I'm always like, on the show most. And I refuse to use a cough button. I know you're a radio pro, but I'm like, screw it. The show is going to sound exactly how I sound.
Why weren't you wearing a mask for the last few weeks? I'm wondering about your broadcast now.
It's so effective. I know. See, Justin, he did it. He made Vince, you've known me long enough to never bring up masks on the show because now we're going to have to, Justin's like, I can't believe. Yeah, I know it. I know. They used to say the beast, but that's off too because we've now forfeited that fight. However, I will never forfeit the fight on masks. I always have to mess with people who still wear masks. I'm like, you understand, right? This is the condom that got every person pregnant. Like, it's the one thing where every single person who wore the freaking thing, everyone got COVID. It is the worst prophylactic of all time. It's not even the condom that you're guaranteed to get pregnant with this condom. Yep.
That's right. You may as well have strapped a spaghetti strainer to your face and walked around. It was very
spaghetti
effective.
Strainer dipped in COVID, and you have a better chance of not getting COVID. That is a great analogy. The spaghetti strainer over your face, dipped in, like, bathed in every variety of COVID. You stand a better chance of not getting COVID with COVID-dipped spaghetti strainer than these stupid surgical masks. It's unbelievable. Like, I think back to getting banned from YouTube for just telling people, hey, man, this surgical mask is not going to help you. And the reason I said it, Vince, Justin's like, here we go, man. Here we go. And we're not cutting this at all. We're keeping this in.
We call this, I have a name for this. This is a tangent. We go way off in another direction.
I love that because it happens all the time. But I was really serious about this when it happened. Because there were older people out there who fell for this, who were immunocompromised and who really thought this thing was going to save them. And I'm like, hey, brother, sister, I'm telling you, man, you're taking a big chance. This thing ain't going to do squat. So that's what kind of bothered me about the whole thing. It kind of speaks to the psychosis we're in now, where the current thing mentality, where like something just takes off on X and gullible people just believe it. I mean, the best example of it is this DSA, this fascination with socialism. When guys like you and me are like, you could just look up how many people died because of socialism in countries and economies that collapsed. You could just check it out,
Yes, it robs you of your agency. It diminishes you. It gives all your power away to the government, and then corrupt people use it to hurt you. That's the story over and over and over again. And it's sold as this like ridiculous, like, pie in the sky. Everybody's going to have, $10 trillion. Your life is going to be great. And it's not like it's the vote for Pedro campaign, candidly, from Napoleon Dynamite, where he stands up there and he goes, vote for me and all of your wildest dreams will come true. And people, you see that and like, it's a comedy for a reason. You watch that and you're like, that's ridiculous. Of course, like it's on its face ridiculous. And yet you actually have people these days who are running using the vote for Pedro message as if they're serious political candidates, when we, of course, know that that leads to death and destruction. It's not good.
The Democrats are like Uncle Rico. Like, I can throw this football over that mountain. Like, they tell you things that are they tell you things so absurd on their face. I was on Jesse Waters' show last night. I was like doing that show because he just kind of lets me roll. And I look up and I'm like, I can't believe we've been talking for like 10 minutes because TV hits, they're short, like 2 to 5 minutes. But
by the way, that's a very good sign. That's a very good sign for your ratings. That's what that's about. They watch those ratings down to the minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they do. They have them in little bar graphs and stuff. And I looked up, it was like 8:19. I'm like, man, this is going on. And I was really enjoying it. But I brought up this example that this is a problem in a small but not insignificant wing of the Republican Party that now wants to kind of out-Democrat on the free stuff thing. We can't do that because I brought up on Jesse's show last night, like, the socialists are the 7-minute abs guys from Something About Mary. Like 7-minute abs was this for those, I mean, I don't know, this may be a boomer moment, whatever, I'll take it on this one, even though I hate that thing. But 7-minute abs was like this stupid video. Look, you get a washboard abs, 7 minutes. It's obviously stupid. Like, you want washboard abs, you got to work out every day, get your cardio in, eat right. You're not going to change your life in 7 minutes, okay? It was a stupid promise. So the joke in the movie is the guy's like, well, what about 6-minute abs? And Ben Stiller's like confused, like, wow, if you can do it in 7, why not? That's the old school establishment wing of the Republican Party, some of them that are trying to out-Democrat the Democrats. You're never going to out-Democrat the Democrats. Because if you say 6-minute abs, they're going to come back with what? 5-minute abs. Like, it just doesn't work. You have to do the hard work of explaining to people, why excessive capital gains tax doesn't work. You don't have to make a big treatise out of it or a white paper, stick it on a Wheaties box. But we have to do the hard work, and the hard work isn't easy.
No, it's not easy at all. And look, underbidding each other with false promises is definitely the way you destroy the country. You can't do that. But getting to the actual practical needs of American citizens and being really clear about the deliberation it'll take to achieve those things, that is important. I mean, this is I talk about this all the time. This, and you're very familiar with this. But the concern about how long it takes to bring accountability to people who have violated the nation's laws or violated their oath of office to hurt American citizens, in order to do it the right way, not the way the left does it, not when they conjure up fake special counsels that are unconstitutional, not when they conjure up violations of law that never occurred, not when they arrest Donald Trump for no reason and put him in mugshots, not when they surround people like Roger Stone with a SWAT team outside of his house in Florida. It's not like that. In the real world, if you really want to stand up for the rule of law, it does take deliberation. And so as you're watching as this process plays out, including Anthony Fauci's top lieutenant being prosecuted and pleading guilty for all of his COVID corruption, this is a process that needs to be restored. We shouldn't have two parties that are competing with each other for how much they can destroy the rule of law. Instead, we should have, at its best, political parties that both stand up for it, but at least one political party that's standing up for the restoration of the rule of law. Because without order, that is how you destroy a country. And I often use it to refer to AOC herself, but I think AOC is broadly agents of chaos. They're agents of chaos. And we should be the people who stand up for order, for law, and for the restoration of American greatness.
Yeah, it's not a complicated message, Vince. I've been growing exhausted by, I've seen these leaks in left-wing media outlets, unnamed Republican tells whatever, BSico, we have no message to run on. Well, in the beginning of today's show, I put up a now viral, it's gone crazy, Rod Martin tweet that's so long. And Guy, I was doing the pre-production meeting, and Guy's like, how do you want to handle this during the show? Because, it's not going to fit on a piece of paper or the prompter. And he's like, I think you should make that the point. Like, it's a list of Trump's accomplishments that's so long, I I hate the word literally, Beniska. I literally cannot fit it on the screen. Like, there's a message to run on. Borders closed, crime being crushed, manufacturing is back. The message is there. They're just naive, and they're pretending to be naive about it. And I think it's because they quietly harbor a lot of resentment because this administration did things, Vince, that they've talked about forever. And let's just be honest, man, they just didn't do these establishments. We're going to shut the border down. They didn't. I love Ronald Reagan's presidency. I did. But listen, Simpson, Mazzoli, Reagan's record was not fantastic on the border. I mean, he was squeezed into it a lot, but still, results are results. I think they're just PO'd that Donald Trump in a year and a half did things that they just weren't able to do.
Well, I just, it's amazing to me because when I do think about it, like we're going into a midterm where the core question is, has President Trump succeeded? And by the way, President Trump wants that to be the question. There's oftentimes you get Democrats, the opposing party tries to make a midterm, a referendum on the president of the United States as a means to gain power. But President Trump is all in on that subject. He's like, make it a referendum on me. Because he's looking around. In fact, I just saw on Truth Social this week, he just posted something, I think, from Matt Van Swol. I've had Matt Van Swol on my program before. He's great. And Matt gave a rundown of all the ways in which Republicans as a party have not met the needs of voters. And President Trump shared it. President Trump took a screen grab of it and shared it. And what he was saying in sharing it is, hey, look, I'm doing a lot, but I need more backup. I need people who are actually going to help support this and get this over the finish line on a whole bunch of issues. Like, why are we still trying to kick these guys in the ass to get them to give us election integrity? It's so freaking ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, if the Republicans lose the midterms, it won't be because of Donald Trump. That guy's been moving heaven and earth to bring successes to the public. It's going to be because of the failures of Republicans in both the House and especially the Senate. That's why losses will appear if they do. Now, on this point about Trump's successes, first of all, I'm asking voters, just remember why you gave him the popular vote in 2024. You made the napkin math. You did the napkin math. You looked at Biden, you looked at Trump, and you're like, damn, I prefer Trump. And then you brought him back. And what did you bring him back to do? You brought him back to secure the border. You brought him back for mass deportations. You brought him back for accountability. You brought him back to bring law and order. And he's done each of those things. The border is more secure than it's been in any of our lifetimes. Illegal aliens are being deported at rates that we've never seen. Net migration is down, meaning people are leaving the country. American jobs for native-born Americans are going up. The murder rate is down to record lows. You're very cognizant of this particular topic. And you're watching as people are now in a position to succeed that they haven't been in the past. And so this is what President Trump is going to go into Dallas talking about. Every Republican should be on the same page. Yeah. You should remember the big, beautiful bill, which is now the big, beautiful law. That's like practically an afterthought these days. But no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. These are massive victories for working people who needed a break from the government's involvement in their life, and they got it. And so can the president go in with a list of successes? Yes. And I can barely scratch the surface on what they are. And that's, I hate the pessimism. I really think that it is of immense value to walk forward each day with a positive vision for what you're capable of and to appreciate the blessings that you have. And we've got a lot of blessings.
We do. We're talking to Vince Colanese. Check out his podcast. It is one of the most popular in the country. 8 a.m. Eastern time. You can join live. You can watch on demand anytime. Rumble.com/Vince. Common spelling there. I say that, Vince, because I do book signings sometimes. And a guy be like, hey, my name is Dan. And I would always say, well, how do you spell that? And they'd look at me puzzled, like I didn't know how Dan is spelled. And the only reason I would is I'd be at a book signing and someone would say, my name is Joe, Jooo. Apostrophe, tilde, and I'd be like, I already signed it. So I ask everything. So VINCE, rumble.com.
No, it's so funny. It's so funny you say that, though, because look, when I launched the podcast and the radio show last year, and everybody was involved with like, what do we call the podcast? What do we call the radio show? And I'd been calling my old radio show the Vince Colanese Show. I'm like, just call it the same thing. And Westwood, when I set up the radio show, they're like, I think we're going to call it the Vince Show. And I'm like, why? What's the problem? And like nobody wanted to tell me, nobody can spell your last name. That's the problem.
It
Like,
is
nobody's
hard.
going to be able to find you.
Coglianese is the way it's colonase, but it think Coglianese, like a cog in a wheel. Yeah, I get it. You know, my show used to be the Renegade Republican when I first started. I don't even know who thought of that, but whatever. And I'm at this doctor's office one day. Who the hell knows, a sore throat or something. And the doctor's a listener to the show. And this is why I love rumble.com/Vince. I love the simplicity of it. But he said, you know, I hate the name of your show. It's stupid. And I was like, wow, okay. He goes, listen, if you're going to brand anything, brand yourself. He's like, you're the brand, correct? Not some renegade. Who's the Renegade Republic? That's just not a thing. And I changed it all because that guy was the greatest thing I ever did. And the last name's hard. I mean, but imagine having a name like Bongino. People always screw that up. They put a J in there. Bongino, they say it wrong. So I've been used to it. You know, I got used to it. I want to ask you about this because I saw this on your Twitter timeline as well.
Yeah.
I'm all over this issue too. You know, sometimes you can measure the intentions of your political opponents by the degree on the margin of how upset they are about an issue. That the Democrats have lost their mind over President Trump's executive order trying to get some election integrity over these mail-in ballots speaks volumes. Listen, the Democrats themselves at the New York Times back in 2012 have already acknowledged that mail-in balloting has double the rejection rate and double the rates of fraud. It's not hard to figure out why. If Vince is the election official and I have to give you a ballot, I have to do it in person. If I drop it off of a mailbox, it doesn't have to be me. Anybody could ballot harvest it and drop it off, okay? So the fact that President Trump is just saying, if we're stuck with this mass mail-in balloting, which he doesn't agree with, but if we're stuck with it, we should at least do our best to make sure that Vince's vote is Vincent's vote and Dan's vote is Dan's vote. And the Democrats are losing their mind, Schumer and everyone else. It just speaks volumes to the fact that they just want to cheat. Just be obvious about it. Just be open and honest about it.
Yeah, and this, of course, what President Trump is doing is to the benefit of every voter, not just Republican voters. It's designed to protect the will of Democrat voters across the country, and Democrats are opposed to it, meaning Democrats at the top, they're opposed to it. And it's not just, you mentioned the 2012 report. Was it Adam Liptak, I think, who wrote that New York Times piece? Yeah, he was like, yeah, there's a big problem with mail-in ballots. And of course, this was at a time where Democrats were trying to control about Republicans stealing elections with mail-in ballots. That was the underlying tension there. If you go back to the early 2000s, of course, you got the Carter-Baker Commission, too. Democrat Jimmy Carter says that mail-in ballots are the single biggest vector for fraud in elections.
You guys got to
limit the use of mail-in ballots.
Sorry, Vince. You guys got to pull the Carter-Baker Commission. Jimmy Carter's line. He's right about how mail-in ballots, and we got to get Jimmy Carter. No, not a Republican by any stretch. No. I'm sorry. Go ahead, but I want to use that. That's a great point.
Yeah, and so look, this is a problem, and for those who continue to say, "Oh, mail-in ballots are wonderful," and it all goes great. Let me just give you another example of this. Back in Georgia, remember when they were proposing election integrity laws, which they passed, by the way, thank God, which did improve the quality of Georgia's elections. Not perfect, but better now. They made an important change. They said, "Hey, no more signature on the ballot in order to prove it's you. You need to write your state ID number on the ballot when you submit it." That's what they did. So they fixed Georgia's election laws. Now, the Democrats warned that this was going to disenfranchise black voters. And by the way, on screen, of course, we just got was it the Carter-Baker Commission?
For those listening on audio, yeah, you can read it there yourself. The Carter-Baker report warned, you guys are fast, absentee ballots. This is a quote, folks. Quote, meaning they said it, not me and Vince. Absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud. I mean, it's just read it yourself.
Jimmy Carter said it. And of course, they don't talk about it. But, but in Georgia, they made it so you put your state ID number on the ballot now when you submit it to prove it's you. It's a great system. Now Joe Biden called it Jim Crow 2.0. He said it's always going to hurt black voters. And of course, it didn't do that. You know what happened to the black vote? It went up. Black turnout went up after these changes, and fewer black votes were thrown out by idiot election workers staring at ballots going, your signature doesn't match, and they would throw it out. So, in other words, these systems are not disenfranchising people. Don't fall for the left's garbage about racism or any of that other stuff. It's about protecting the voting franchise. And so the reason the left is freaking out right now, as you point out, it gives away the game. It's because they either know because they're actively involved in it or they just know it instinctively. They are the beneficiaries of massive amounts of fraud in the United States. President Trump is putting an end to that by saying, no. The American vote is for the American citizen. I'm going to protect it. I don't care which party you vote for. You are going to be protected. And Democrats are freaking out because they don't want to play by the game that involves actually convincing voters that they have a better argument.
Yeah, we're going to keep, can you guys keep that with the LipTAC article and the Evergreen voter fraud file? Because you know that you're always great for this kind of content. I actually forgot about that Carter Baker Commission. That's such a damning statement because it was a bipartisan. In other words, Democrats and Republicans signed off on this, that this absentee ballot thing is the largest potential source of fraud. You can't make, that's just a Republican. No, Carter was a Jimmy Carter, obviously not a Republican. Vince, one thing I wanted to get your take on too is, I brought up in the beginning of our interview here, the messaging issue with the Republicans, that it's not easy to tell people stuff isn't free. It's just not. I mean, I saw a couple of people on X saying, how are we going to fight the DSA's offers of free healthcare and all this stuff? And I get it. I get it that it's complicated to explain to people that a doctor's time costs money. A hospital's time costs money. Hospitals have to employ everyone from janitors to electricians to doctors to CEOs. That costs money. People aren't working for free. I can prove it in the audit. Do you work for free? No, you don't. I mean, unless you're volunteering for a charity, which is a small sliver of the population that does that or has the capacity to do it, you have to feed your kids. But one of the things we can do is we can provide a warning. And it's not always the sexiest way to campaign, but I always tell people, you got to tell people what you did, and Donald Trump has that. But you also have to tell people what the other opponent in the race, the Democrats and the socialists, are going to do. And one area where we have such a soft spot, where I just don't see enough Republicans taking advantage of it, is healthcare. There is zero chance, if they told the truth about Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill, how it makes illegal or, quote, unlawful from the bill, same thing, private healthcare you and I earn. We may not be 100% happy with, but we certainly don't want to be calling a government bureaucrat, and we don't want it canceled. Right. We're used to our doctor. Now, again, it's not maybe great. Maybe there's some hurdles we don't like sometimes. When you tell union workers and stuff who busted their ass and traded salary increases in many cases for really good healthcare plans because they're worried about their families. When you tell them, hey, man, I'm just reading the text of the bill from these socialists, that plan is gone. It's illegal. You're going on government healthcare. And by the way, you're not getting those salary increases you forfeited back. This is such a soft spot. I get viscerally upset. I want to vomit when I don't hear Republicans bring it up.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, the cost of living is very important. It's super important. And Republicans are morons if they don't take it seriously. You definitely should.
Right.
And one of the ways you attack this is, of course, to talk about, as you point out, the insanity of the left's offer, which is to make your life completely unaffordable. And we don't have to use like hypotheticals to explain this. How about this? Did the Affordable Care Act make healthcare more affordable?
Thank you. Yes.
And the answer to that is absolutely not. It actually made it completely expensive. Deductibles have skyrocketed. Premiums have skyrocketed. People were thrown off their healthcare plans. They can't see the doctor they used to see. And nothing about life became cheaper as a result of the so-called Affordable Care Act. It was the same exact government trick that was played with the Inflation Reduction Act, which didn't reduce inflation. It drove it up, and it had nothing to do with inflation. So how many times are you going to fall for the same sucker game where they promise you that we're going to give you everything you've ever wanted act, and then they're going to take away everything you've ever had? So how about no more of that crap? We're done with it. And when it comes to like reducing healthcare costs, there's a couple ways to approach this. Now, President Trump has already gone at it. I mean, prescription drug prices are down at levels that we haven't seen since March of 1963. I swear to you, because July of last month was the biggest drop in prescription drug prices since March of 1963, which is a big victory for President Trump, who's been fighting for, favored nation pricing to make sure that drug companies aren't using the United States as a way to subsidize discount sales of drugs overseas. He's fighting to bring the cost of drugs down. The other piece of this, which I think you're probably familiar with, Dan, is that these doctors in America, do you know how much of their time is filled with government paperwork?
It's obscene.
They have to fill out reimbursement paperwork, government paperwork, all the codes and everything. In other words, all of their time is spent trying to communicate with an inefficient government. And less of their time is used actually seeing patients. This is a supply and demand question. You want to decrease the cost of healthcare? Make it so that doctors can see patients again instead of spending all their time talking to Uncle Sam. The whole thing is so crazy, and yet the left wants to make it worse. And we've seen it. You don't have to do the hypothetical. We see what it looks like every time they do it, and it always gets worse.
Doctors in the chat, please chime in here, because I have a number of doctor friends and doctors in my family, and they'll take one friend of mine who shall remain nameless, does not take insurance at all. It's a cash and carry business. And by the way, he's one of the most popular doctors in the South Florida area. He refuses. I said, man, you must lose a lot of patients. He says, I don't care. I can't afford to hire 5, 10 more people and spend all their time going through volumes of government approval. He's like, forget it. He's like, it's not worth it for me. I just want to enjoy my life, and I'm not doing this. He just takes nothing. And he's like, I don't really care. You want to deal with it with your insurance company? You need my services. Great. You pay in cash or pay with credit card, whatever, and you deal with the insurance company later. But I want nothing to do with it. And you're going to see more of that going forward. And then the joke's on the middle class, because Vince, as you and I know, once the government takes your health care, wealthy people are just going to get concierge medicine. They're not going to go and wait in a line, but they're not going to do it. You're the ones who are going to get screwed by this. So we talked to, that was Vince Colonnese, folks. Check him out. Don't miss his podcast, 8 a.m. Eastern time live. Join the chat. It's always a lot of fun. If you can't make it, you want to watch on demand, that's cool too. Go to rumble.com/Vince. Also, check him out on radio stations. I mean, actually across the country, we're in every region. He is on 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern time, live on radio, one of the most popular shows in the country. Vince, always great to talk to you. I'll see you next week on your show. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Dan. Can't wait.
You got it, folks. Vince Colonnese. We're the whole Bongino report, Bongino Inc. family of incredible content is just going up. Of course, that drives the pillars absolutely crazy. I'm sorry. Get a wipey on that. There's nothing I can do for you. You're going to have to find some help. Maybe you need some medication. There's not much I can do to help you. Sean's show, the new show, Sean Farish, is at 1 p.m. Eastern, rumble.com/Sean. He had, I think, a record number of streamers yesterday for him. He was crushing it. Haley at noon, rumble.com/Haley, and then Vince at 8 a.m. And you can listen to us all on the radio show. I really appreciate the support on radio. I told you we're moving to mornings and afternoons now, taking over. And then to watch us on Rumble Live, I'm at 10 a.m. every single day. Rumble.com/Bongino. It's free if you want to watch on the web. Just click that follow button. If you would, you'll get a notification when we go live. And download the free Rumble app on your TV, your iPad, your smartphone. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your support. I will see you back here tomorrow, Friday, right? One time I did that, Rob. Sometimes they blend in. Friday, 10 a.m. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
I'm Vince.
I'm Haley Carania.
I'm Sean Farish.
Host of Vince.
Host of Scrolling with Haley.
Host of Sean Farish Live.
You can always catch my show right here.
Right here.
Right here on the Bongino Report channel.
Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Noon weekdays.
1 p.m. Eastern time.
And if you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.
And thank you for your attention to this matter.